Hello everyone, before I start the video, I would like to thank you all for watching my content. Creating videos is what I like to do, but also it takes me some time to make them. I have to write a script which takes some time and thoughts, so I would like to ask of you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell in case YouTube doesn't like to push my videos forward. Again, thanks. Let's continue with the video. The Sacred Boots, or the Hoverboots, are found within the horrific Shadow Temple. These boots allows the wearer to hover for a couple of seconds over devastating pitfalls, and it's one of the coolest equipment that you can find in the Legend of Zelda series. But who created these boots? Where does the inspiration come from to create flying boots? To continue examining them, we have to look into the history of Hyrule. The Shadow Temple, a very eerie place that was once used for dark magical practices, as torturing someone isn't exactly a good thing. The royal family of Hyrule are so disgusted by what was happening within the temple that they decided to not talk about it, and yet this particular item doesn't appear to look evil at all. Instead, these boots have wings of an angel, and when used, a white bright light can be seen on the Link, protecting him from falling. Also, it has a very interesting sound effect that one can say sounds angelic. Now, why would a holy item like this be found within a dark and scary temple such as this? As the Sheikah are the protectors of the royal family and specialize in dark magical arts, they also seem to create magical artifacts that I will discuss in different videos, so feel free to subscribe so you won't miss this in the near future. Now, to look for the inspiration of these boots, we had to dive into Greek mythology. The Talaria of Mercury, which is the Roman equivalent of Hermes, the Greek messenger god, are winged sandals that was given to him by the god Hephaestus, and it was made out of gold. Gold in ancient cultures was something that only the divine or the royal people would wear in history. Now, when you look back to the Shadow Temple, you notice that it's filled with the undead, and it's dark as the night. As the Sheikah were trained in the shadows, they also seem to do rituals to protect or to keep the spirits at bay. This is heavily implied at the entrance of the temple, as there are torches in front of the temple that has to be opened by a sorcerer or magic user. By doing this, we slowly walk and enter to the underworld of Hyrule. Once there, we see the open room with the large bird statue. This statue looks a lot like the Strix, birds that fed on human flesh and blood. The blood of the wicked, the traitors, the enemies of Hyrule, all splattered against the walls of this temple, which is something we haven't seen ever again in any other Zelda game. Nintendo was very careful when creating ideas for their video games, yet somehow this temple was okay for them to make, and when I played this as a kid, it surely impressed me as I found this temple to be one of the best they have ever done. After using the Sacred Hoverboots, we are walking over the pitfalls and right into the mouth of a creature. Symbolism is key here, as many cultures believe that once someone died, the soul would leave the body from their mouth, but the player, which is Link, walks right into the body of the temple instead. As we go on and find multiple rooms of torture devices and evil spirits, we eventually find the boat with the ferryman of Hades, the one called Charon, who carries the souls of the newly deceased across the river Styx that acts like a boundary between the dead and the living. This boat will eventually take us to the last part of the temple, with Hades waiting for us at the end of it. The temple is without a doubt a scary place, filled with the souls of the interlopers, and the traitors that once decided to wage war against the royal family of Hyrule, the ones that took the path of evil. They will be forever the crying souls of the damned, and the Sheikah shall never forget what happened here, as they cried and mourned for these lost souls, till only one teardrop was left. Their lives have always been the ones dedicated to protecting Hyrule, and they never felt right for what they did in the past. This is why there are barely any Sheikah to be seen in Ocarina of Time, as they are hiding and lost No Sheikah wants to hurt anyone of Hyrule ever again. In time, they had to prove themselves again that they were to be trusted as Sheikah, can be good protectors. They can also use their knowledge and magic for evil purposes. This part was for sure known by someone called the Old Man, or his real name, Shikashi. You could say that his name sounds a little bit like Sheikah, as the villagers in Kakariko village are descendants of the Sheikah. Once talking to this man, he tells you the story of a man that was said to be able to see the truth. Then he tells you that this man had a different way of doing things, which was using magic in a bad way, and it was found out by Impa that locked his soul inside a well, where his house once stood. Now to take a deeper look at this man, we have to deep dive back into Greek mythology once more. In Greek mythology, Hades, or the Unseen One, which sounds very familiar when you think about the way how he saw things, was the firstborn son of the Titans Cronus and Rhea. He had 3 older sisters, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera, and a younger brother named Poseidon, and they were all swallowed whole, which sounds Deku nuts if you think about it, as soon as they were born by Cronus. As soon as Zeus got involved into the story, they got spit out by Cronus, and after this event, they all fought together in a holy divine war. Now, why am I explaining all this? Well, if you count the gods all together, it's 6 gods, and when you look at Ocarina of Time and its backstory, there was once a heavy war, and there are 7 sages. Eventually the war ended for the good guys, and different realms were given to certain gods to be maintained, with Hades being the one leading the underworld. But once Ganondorf took control of Hyrule, Hades escaped his imprisonment and created his own desired Hadrid world, that was the Shadow Temple. One day, however, when the Dark Lord returns,
we shall conquer the light, and as the world of Hyrule slowly descends into madness, Hyrule will be ours!
Thank you all for watching the video, and I hope that I will see you next time.